What's an adult problem you weren't prepared for? The actual cost of owning a car. It's not as simple as save up and buy a car. It's buy a car, register the car, then every month put gas in the car multiple times, and also pay for insurance for your car. Then the maintenance for your car oil changes, getting a flat tire 4 times in 1 year. All of a sudden your car makes a weird noise and you're paying $600 to fix that. Then you're driving home one day and your entire car shuts off and turns back on, and you end up spending $700 on a new alternator. Cake Day wishes you a good car. Wise words I heard from a source I can't remember. You never buy a car. You invest in one. Invest in a depreciating asset. Methinks there are better investments out there. So, any explanations how? I'm 22 and don't understand this. Would love to be educated. Taxes. Luckily there's TurboTax and things like it that do all the hard work for you. But, the first time I had to file taxes, there was nothing of the sort. It took almost a week to figure it all out. Crazy how it works in the US. Our employers automatically do it for us here in the UK, unless you're self-employed. To be fair, in the US, for most taxpayers, filing taxes is super easy and often free with software like TurboTax and TaxAct etc. You can basically do your taxes and submit to the IRS in an afternoon. At least the federal portion is usually free. The state filing is the only one that usually costs money, unless you live in one of the 7 US states that don't take out state taxes to begin with. That working 40-hour weeks doesn't mean anything when you live in an expensive state, unless you have multiple jobs or a high-paying job. I'd be leaving that state yesterday if I was in that position. My bank account is more important to me than the ability to say oh I live in, so that makes me better than you like I see from a lot of Californians. That earning 3x average salary still doesn't buy a 2-bed apartment with a 30-minute commute. Yeah, it's really sad. I've given it serious thought, just to buy myself a decent motorhome and go that direction, so I don't have to spend $1,500 in rent just for a Studio 1 bed. That's the going price here. Apparently I can't just scrub away at a non-stick pan with steel wool, mindlessly unplugging something, so I can vacuum. Might be a bit of an issue if the thing I'm unplugging is a freezer filled with food. Just because I'm mad at the BC government for making me pay for healthcare doesn't mean I can ignore my bills for it. I don't care if MSP is only $37 a month. Healthcare is supposed to be free. Eating out every day will make me poor and fat. You sound wise. Like life experience wise. Dealing with that one drama coworker who is experiencing some great calamity in their personal life, and it is the worst day of their life every single fucking point day, and they just go on and on day after day. They didn't get enough sleep. They burned their dinner, so they went to bed hungry. They woke up late, so they didn't have breakfast. Their dog shat on the carpet, so they stayed late cleaning. At the same time, it completely drains the life out of you, but you can't call them out because of office etiquette. No one seems to really know what they are doing. Everyone is at varying stages of adulthood, but there is no supreme stage where suddenly everything falls into place. For some reason I thought that once you reached a certain age, you suddenly knew what you're doing. Nope. I'm almost 30 and still feel like a scared kid half the time. I look back and wonder how my mum did it. I used to think she was the supreme grown-up, but now I realize she was just making it up as she went along. Keeping track of how many toilet paper rolls I have left, I only ever realize I'm almost out when I'm down to 1 roll and have to scramble to go and buy some and pray my bowels have mercy on me in the meantime. You don't have an emergency stash? Simple, you just have to set a minimum threshold for commonly consumed household food items, so when you hit this threshold, you go buy more, but still have that reserve amount left. Seeing your parents becoming older, more frail, and a little dependent on you than the other way around. This is so close to home. My mother is 57 this year, and crippled with arthritis. To see someone who had a better social life than me turn into a recluse battling with depression, it's unbelievable. There's 3 of us siblings, but only me. That luck's out for her, despite my brother living at home. Hard work. How my body is just slowly degrading down and falling apart. I think I pulled my neck muscle just now by looking down to type this. Random back pain is the ultimate burden. I sat on the couch at a very slightly different angle to my usual arrangement and got a sore side muscle for 3 days, so I agree. I went to turn on my shower once and pulled a muscle in my neck. Like, how? Honestly, that my anxiety and stress levels got worse. I'm always fearful about whether or not I'm going to have enough money to make ends meet, and that fear that, if I don't make something of myself by the time I'm 27, that I'm a total loser with no hope for the future. Oh, and still making doctor appointments over the phone is just as scary as it was as a teenager. Being out of touch with your friends because everybody's doing their own things. Yeah, I left school 12 years ago, and it's only in the last year that I've properly reconnected with the wider group of friends I had in school. They all had kids. I chose to work and go to college. Separate lives. It is tough. With school you finish a course and you go on to the next one, and the next one, and there's always someone there to tell you you're done, and you can move on. The real world is perfectly content with you churning away at your first job until you die. If you don't tell anyone you're done, and you need to move on, you'll never leave. How every little thing will break when I save any money making it, so I'm always in a pit of despair and regret. Oh look, I finally paid down my CR card. Car breaks down. Story of my life. No matter how much you save, something will always happen that costs that amount. I haven't had to face this yet, but I think about it constantly. Making a family, putting everything in life aside to support your children and build their future. I don't know if I'm just too young to want this, or if I'll ever want it at all, but the thought simply fills me with dread. How expensive everything is. And how what I thought at one time was a lot of money is actually nothing at all. Detergent is so expensive. And toilet roll. You think toilet roll is expensive? Imagine buying 6 toilet roll. The amount of stress and anxiety that comes with being an adult. Yep, and how common the two are. Don't forget how middling, silly, insignificant adolescent problems and drama are compared to your brand spanking new adult issues and catastrophes. All the lingo when buying a house. Everything is purposely convoluted to confuse you. Insurance. Whether it be medical, car, or home insurance. I rarely need it, so I feel like I'm just throwing money away. Too many people confuse kindness with respect. Yes, it's important to be kind, but I'm not gonna give my respect to a total stranger I just met. You want my respect? Earn it. Simple as that. How much things really cost, how quickly money goes on simple household items, shopping, bills and fuel. It's such a crazy list of expenses. And when things go wrong in the house and need paying for, when you finally realize that your blood relatives will let you down in ways that nobody else ever could. Also, realizing my dad never loved me. He loved having control over me, and there's a huge difference. Broke ass relatives begging for money as you're trying to get yourself independent. My brother didn't want money, he wanted part of my liver because he destroyed his with drugs. That was a hard no. Having to job hunt. I'm sick of job hunting. I think I'd take just about any full-time job if I knew I'd have it forever. It's soul destroying. I know what you mean. All the big decisions I have to make, any one of which could significantly improve or harm my future, and to make it worse, having the financial means to make such choices. Having to decide if you want to leave a job that you're comfortable with and enjoy the work atmosphere it provides for a new job that pays more and provides more security. My parents were always thin, so I thought that I would be too. It took getting the double chin for me to admit that I need a lifestyle change. My wife packing up and taking the kids while I was at work. I have not been to our home in a week. It just destroys me to be there alone. Having a degree, but working a job where the pay does not reflect that I have a degree. Should have gone to a tech school. Living alone. Getting home and no one being around to talk or chill with. I think the constant silence would get to me. How alone you suddenly are. Took me a long time to be comfortable with that. The importance of appropriate social behavior. Man, that has been challenging for me. How other adults are just as bad at adulting as I am. Everything is expensive. And now it's all on you. Having to clean black permanent marker off of the dog. Some people are actually more immature in their adulthood. I learnt a lot thanks Reddit _carrot. Same with boats, apparently I still want a boat. No one telling me what I need to do. The level of depression I used to have.